The Browns have allowed an NFL low 3.2 yards per play this season. Just let that sink in. Best by any NFL defense through 3 games this century, which obviously goes back to 2020.
Yeah.
The per-play dominance has helped Cleveland force 3 and outs on 61.5% of opposing drives. Also best by any defense through 3 games since 2000.
Yeah, it's amazing.
If this continues,
it's hard to believe it's going to continue at that level.
When do we play Miami? We don't have them this year?
No.
I thought we had them on our schedule this year. I was almost hoping we would.
I know.
Because
I want to see it.
Maybe we'll see them in the playoffs.
I want to see it. I'm with you.
I want to see that.
I was kind of scrolling through. We don't have the schedule posted, right? Because I was looking last night. It was like, okay, Baltimore, like Lamar looked good.
But that won't be the test.
No, and San Francisco, Purdy, okay. Better than what they've seen so far. Better than Tannehill, certainly.
Right.
Here we go. But like, where's the game where it's the offensive juggernaut that you look at and say, that's the one?
It's not on that slate.
The 49ers are a good offense.
They're good, but not elite.
Rams will be interesting. See what they are in week 3 or week 13.
Elite.
But I still don't see it.
This could be a really dominant number-wise.
It could be.
We could be talking.
Look at that.
Bears.
Look at that.
If Burrow's healthy in week 18 and they're playing for something, outside of that, that's it. They're not playing anything.
I really don't have that juggernaut offense.
I want to see this Browns defense.
Now, we don't know yet. It's 3 games. We don't know.
Right.
But based on what we've seen,
No.
I want to see them
It's
against
not like
the
we
Chiefs
have
and the
Miami.
Dolphins.
We know what Miami would be for us. That would be the test.
Oh, yeah.
No, I'm saying we don't even know how good Miami is. And Miami, it's been 3 games.
You put 70 on an NFL team.
They put up huge numbers.
Yeah, but
by the way, keep in mind,
I thought Denver quit.
Miami put up huge numbers in their first 3 games last week and that last year.
Not 70. And Tua got hurt. When Tua's healthy, they're legit.
Offensively, I would like us to see us play the Chargers, too. The Chargers, I think, when they got it rolling with Herbert,
the Browns are not – there's not a lot of tests for their defense. Their defense should be great all year. Right. Is it going to play to the level it's played the last 3 weeks? That's hard to believe. Right. Even if they're great, to play to that level is absurd. It would be the greatest – maybe the greatest defense of all time.
It's not fair to expect that.
It's not fair to expect that level. But I'm expecting the defense to be very, very good.
This slate here is telling. I had this on my list of things to talk about today. The only thing missing from this defense, because I've killed Myles Garrett because he's not making plays in big spots.
Yeah.
Forget about that. He did it yesterday. His sacks yesterday were all in big moments. They weren't mop-up sacks. They were huge. But that takeaway number right there is not indicative.
Some of that's luck.
It is. A lot of it's luck. But you also have to force your own luck. They ripped that ball out of.
It was on the ground 3-4 times.
Yeah, there were 2 official fumbles, and they didn't get either one.
So I think that will take care of itself.
Well, that's
the only thing I see that's
the
missing.
Browns fell asleep on that strip. They thought the play was over. on that
JOK ran right by. Just fall on the ball.
JOK, by the way, he was lost on that play. But JOK looks like a football player right now.
What you mean?
He's playing with instinct and
Jim
enthusiasm.
Schwartz, right? Jim Schwartz.
Not a big fan of the riding the horse celebration.
I liked that. I thought that was good.
We said it all summer that this is if he can't play in this scheme, he can't play in the NFL.
Yeah, well, we found that he can play because he's playing really well.
Yeah. Do we credit to Quell at all?
I'll give him credit for it. Shout out to Quell. Anthony Walker, I called him just a guy. They're playing. I had to apologize. Anthony Walker is playing like he never was injured. And then just even Grant Delpit. Grant Delpit looked like I don't know. I'm not gonna call him Ed Reed or nothing, but this dude is he's not missing tackles.
Playing the best football of his career.
So far.
Yeah. I mean,
you know what? There was one interesting thing that I wanted to bring up today, and as it pertains to the defense, because it hit me when I was watching them stone Derrick Henry run after run. Has anybody on this panel ever seen a side of the football turn it around so dramatically in the span of last year's Falcons game, where they came to the line of scrimmage and yelled, "We're running the ball, you can't stop us," and they were gashed for first down after first down after first down, to where this run defense is today, less than a full season later.
The only thing comparable is when a couple of teams got superstar quarterbacks and then an offense went from terrible to – we've seen that a few times.
But they were all-time bad, and they right now are looking like they're trending in the direction of all-time good.
Yeah, I mean – Listen, obviously it's not just Schwartz because they did add a lot of talent.
Yeah,
but it's a good deal, Schwartz. I mean,
no, but it's also the talent.
It definitely the talent.
I was talking to Myles in the locker room about it, and I think I mentioned this after week 1. I said, like, this might be the most talent you've had around you. And he wasn't dismissing. He was just like, man, we'll see. It's early.
Yeah.
And yesterday, I said it again, and his whole face lit up, like his eyes lit up.
Because now he's buying it, you think?
Oh, for sure. And we were talking about, like, what's different. And he said even when he didn't get there in the past, if he brought heat and couldn't quite get there, there was always creases and room for the quarterback to step up and get away and go make a play. Yeah. There's nowhere for the quarterback to go now. When Myles flushes them, he's pushing them right into Zadarius Smith or Dalvin Tomlinson or somebody else.
Jason, he got triple teamed.
Yeah, I know.
On a number of plays. Triple teamed.
I can't wait to see.
There were 2 offensive linemen and then a running back coming in or a tight end coming in.
His PFF grade is going to be 200.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be through the roof.
I was going to say this, but let's talk about the play when he drew the delay of game. And he said, first thing I said to him when I saw him yesterday was, "You're just screwing with him, right?" He goes, "Oh, yeah."
Yeah.
Because he saw Pittsburgh do that to him last year with Freiermuth, and Freiermuth was sort of following him all over the field. So he wanted to just see how many guys he could get to go with him. And there he saw the play clock was running down. The play clock was running down on the Titans all day. And that was playing to the Browns' advantage, too, because they were timing the snaps because the Titans were running out of time. Myles saw the play clock where it was down to 2. He knew they couldn't snap it until they were set. So he just took off to the other side. I'm sorry, it was at 5, it looks like. And 2 guys followed him, so then he came back to the other side. They can't snap the ball until they're set, so he's just going to keep moving back and forth.
It was chess.
Yeah.
It was chess.
And think about this, guys. For the past, let's just say 2 decades, the Browns have arguably been the worst tackling, softest defense in football for most of the last 2 decades. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
I guess if you want to make the sample size that large.
The
numbers are what they are. They've been
they
terrible.
have been soft. They never tackle. This year, how many tackles have they missed? They didn't miss any yesterday. Everybody gets hit, they go down.
Did you hear, I don't know if you watched the whole game last night, at the end of the broadcast, Collinsworth and Tirico were talking about Kenny Pickett, and they said Kenny had told them how sore and beat up he was coming off that Browns game.
They'd called that the most physical. Collinsworth said that's the most physical game I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, and for both sides.
And by the way, we need to point this out. Thankfully, no injuries, unless I missed anything.
I don't think so. I didn't see anyone limping to the X-rays or anything afterwards.
And after losing 2 critical players for the season in weeks 1 and 2, that was big. I want to make a G. Bush analogy on the Browns defense. Mm-hmm. Last year, they were using generic flour. They were using flank steak. They were using road salt instead of table salt. And I was preparing the meal, okay? I don't cook. This year, they brought in high-grade Kobe beef. They brought in the best chef in the land. The ingredients are better. The chef is better. And so far, the meal has been all-time great. And so I'm not just saying it's Schwartz, because I agree. I think the pieces that they added. Now, I would love to know, in not the PR version of this, I would love to know how instrumental Schwartz was in all of the individual pickups that they made. Like, was he going to them saying, this guy plays this role in my defense, we need him?
I guarantee
because
if he is,
you would think that they would listen to him, but I don't know how that went down. I would love to find out.
Yeah.
But if he was the guy who was singling out, give me this one, give me Smith, give me these players.
Yeah.
I give him even more credit than I'm already giving him right now.
If he had a voice, certainly, in the personnel decisions. And I guess that's what I would say. If Jim Schwartz was the coordinator of this defense last year, and he had Tommy Togiai in the middle, and who was the other? Taven Bryant.
They would have been better.
But it would not look like this.
Yeah,
it would not look like this.
It
would have been better than it was, but it wouldn't have been this good.
But to that point, Denzel Ward looks like Denzel Ward again.
Yeah.
Grant Delpit has raised his level of play.
Time.
Newsome in a smaller, I know he was hurt, but
yesterday.
Newsome has made plays
where
JOK
looks like a football player.
looks like a football player.
This is a testament to management and being a great manager of personalities. A lot of times, coaches come in and it's my way or the highway, or hey, act like you've been here before, or we need to be doing it this way, this is my system. The crazy thing about Schwartz is he came in and he showed you what somebody who's thinking outside the box and does not have an ego can do. He says, you know what, let me show you something, Joe Woods. You had the best defensive player in the league on your team, and you made him line up just right there the whole time. Yeah. Let me show you where I can be innovative. Now, and this is in 3 weeks. He went viral for the crossover in the middle of the line. He goes viral again and says, you know what, let me just go in motion. Yeah. I'm going to go in motion and see how many people is doubling me. That is a testament to somebody who is thinking outside the box. And the reason guys is playing so hard for him is because they got the freedom. They're telling him, hey, Denzel, you're one of the best cover corners. Go do it.
How about the play where they had Myles and Zadarius Smith both on the right side?
Brilliant.
They highlighted that.
Loved
By
it.
the way, how about this stat? I don't know. I tweeted this yesterday. I don't know if you guys saw it. I sent it to you guys, but who knows? Myles Garrett had more sacks yesterday. Think about this. Myles Garrett had more sacks in 60 minutes against the Titans than every Browns player had for the entire season last year, except for Myles Garrett.
That's
Stunning.
crazy.
Not only that, if you add up the sacks of everyone else yesterday,
Yeah.
it almost, because I think 3.5 was the number 2 sack leader last year.
Three even.
Okay, then everybody else yesterday combined, not Myles Garrett, had 3 sacks. So it's not just Myles that's eating. Everybody's eating. And we talked about this when Schwartz came on. One of the things he loves to do is come at you in waves, fresh legs. How many plays did Wright make yesterday?
And look good. Alex Wright looked good.
And that's going to be critical when you get into those, where every blade of grass is defended on the field, and you're in that 15-14 playoff game, and you need fresh legs. You can count on a guy like Wright coming in and standing up and making a big play. Depth is critical when you get to the playoffs.
We can go on and on about defense all we want. Obviously, they've been great. You find out how great you are. You don't win championships in September. We'll find out how great the Browns defense is when it really matters.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving to New Year's Eve, right? That's when we really and then into the playoffs. But so far, you can't ask for any more. You outside of not getting turnovers. What's crazy is the Browns are 2-1, could easily have been 3-0.
Should be 3-0.
Despite the fact that they've lost the turnover battle in every game. And by the way, in the second game, even if they had not turned it over, that last turnover when Watson fumbled and the Steelers scored the game-winning touchdown, they would have still lost the turnover battle even if they had won that game.
Yeah.
Even if that fumble hadn't happened, which is crazy. That's the only thing you got to that's the biggest issue right now is the turnover differential.
You got to clean it up. You got to start forcing them on defense, and you got to take care of it on offense.
But Watson did yesterday. That was good.
I have some numbers for you guys on this Browns defense. I did a deep dive into the analytics realm of Twitter and found a couple stats that blew my mind, and then I have a question for you guys after. We're going to run through a couple tag boards real quick. Anthony, pull it up.
Are we taking it full? Are we taking it full?
We're going to take tag board full. Steve, do me the honors. This is according to PFF. The Cleveland Browns have allowed negative 36 rush yards before contact this season.
Remarkable.
That's in 3 games. Negative 36 yards rushing before contact. The league average for the other 31 teams is 94.22. That means there's a differential here of give or take 130 yards between the Browns and the league average.
I would love to know what the second best team is. I bet the second best team.
Yeah, what is the second best?
It's got to be positive.
It's probably something positive.
I will do some research. I bet you Tennessee.
That's absurd.
I'm telling you, these are the best stats I could find.
These are the types of numbers that aren't flukes. Like, I know it's only 3 games, but
to be that good,
that's not human. That's like, again, hanging 70 on an NFL team. I don't care if they quit or not. You don't put 70 on an NFL team. That's what you do to 1AA teams, and you don't hold teams to those types of rushing numbers in the NFL.
Yeah, that's
1AA type.
Yeah, now listen, we were and you did it against Derrick Henry, who's one of the best backs in the league.
Yeah.
Joe Mixon, who's a good back. I know you don't think he's good, but
I think
he's a good back.
Pittsburgh's, though.
Najee Harris is a bum.
Najee Harris not that good, but Najee Harris and Jalen Warren had a decent game last night.
It's one thing to be good and to play sound defense against
this is
mediocre
another
running
level
backs.
right now.
We're talking about numbers that don't. And again, that's not going to hold all year.
Right.
But to be able to do that against NFL teams and NFL running backs, it doesn't matter if they're not elite. These are not numbers that you see.
Especially nowadays, right? Like we joked about the '85 Bears before, or the Giants teams in the past, or those Ravens teams 20 years ago.
Right?
Nobody plays defense like this anymore.
No.
There's no elite defenses. So if the Browns can play, I'm not even going to say this level because this level is ridiculous.
Yeah.
If they could play anywhere close to this level the rest of the season, it could end up being one of the best defenses we've seen. And they were awful last year.
Yeah.
Awful.
The deviation from the norm in the NFL is usually very tiny.
Yeah.
When you look at league averages, you don't really see drastic swings plus and minus off of that line
league is
because
meant for
it's
parity.
the average.
Yeah.
So the fact that I would love to know this. What is the fewest number of snaps a team has allowed in the red zone through any 3-game stretch?
Well, that's
this is historical.
I'm guessing it's the '85 Bears.
I mean,
it might well be.
That was a different era. I've said for months, defenses will give you whatever you want between the 20s. It's what you do in the red zone that defines games. The Browns won't even let teams get to the red zone.
No.
Teams aren't even getting to the red zone. Like, that just blows everything I've been saying out of the water because you can't even get to the red zone.
What are the total number of yards allowed in the first 3 games?
Well, that brings me exactly to my next stat here, Jay. And don't take it up yet. Don't take it up yet. Jason said last week that he doesn't really care about yards anymore. It's about what you do in the 20s.
Right.
So more than ever, in the NFL, teams are piling up yards at an unprecedented rate because they're allowing teams to go up and down the field. So this is from Dan Murphy, who works with the Browns. He's one of the PR people for the Browns. The fewest
Mike
yards
says that
allowed.
as if we don't know who Dan Murphy is.
Well, the viewers don't know
They don't know who
that
that is.
Yeah, the viewers don't.
You said it as if we didn't know.
Dan works for the Browns. He's very helpful to us. The fewest yards allowed after 3 games since 1970. The Buccaneers allowed 430 in 99. The Lions 431 in 1970, and then the Browns this season, 491. That is 24 years since the Buccaneers in 1999, and football is played quite differently.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You know how
it's that big pass that they allowed to.
That's 70 yards,
Well,
71 yards.
You take that off, and I know you can't, and you're
number
420.
1. Yeah.
Yeah, but more importantly, you know how like in baseball there's a lot of stats that are like weighted on base percentage.
Right.
If you did weighted yards allowed based on the rest of the league, that's by far the most impressive in the in my entire life.
I covered that 99 Bucks team.
Yeah.
Okay, and we've talked about all-time great defenses on the show before. The Bears always come up, the 85 Bears.
Yeah.
The Bucks defense from that era, because believe it or not, as good as they were in 99, that wasn't the best year they had. They would later add pieces like Simeon Rice and some different pieces in the back of the defense for just basically depth that made them even better when they later won the Super Bowl in 03. But my goodness, that defense, we know what that defense is. Derek Brooks, Hall of Fame. Warren Sapp, Hall of Fame. Rondé Barber, Hall of Fame. John Lynch, if he's not in, he's going in.
Going in.
So, when you start comparing this defense to these all-time greats, that's heady stuff.
Well, you can't compare them yet.
Not yet.
You can't compare them
Not yet, but we only have 3 games, so that's all we can use.
And they did it doing in a very different way. They had the Tampa 2, and they did it being dominant in a different way as far as their scheme goes.
It was also a different NFL then.
Back then,
much more pass-happy league now.
What they're doing, if you watch it, they're just in the backfield. Like they don't care. Like he's telling them, I don't care about all this other stuff.
Attack.
Just be in the backfield. And just by you being in the backfield, it disrupts pullers, it disrupts double teams, it disrupts anything that you have as far as rhythm, handing the ball off.
How do you beat that? Because soon the NFL offenses are all going to get together and look for the blueprint. You always hear that. Okay, this is what the Browns do. Someone's going to cook up a game plan. Is it quick 2-step drops and get rid of the football?
Screens, quick, getting rid of the ball quick. But here's the thing. What makes the Browns so good is the fact that they got 3 really good corners
they can cover
that
quickly.
can cover man-to-man.
And they didn't even have Newsom yesterday.
And so that really helps the front out getting home. And it actually just eliminates the run game because you got a big guy like Derrick Henry, 6'4", 240. They understood. Don't let him get it rolling. It's hard to get him up to speed. You never hit him before he could even get 2-3 yards. So it's just difficult.
It felt like he only got past the line of scrimmage without getting hit like 2 times the whole game.
I saw a grid yesterday, and I can't find it now. I'd send it to you, Mike, if I could. It was one of those EPA grids, offense, defense. And to your point, you were saying most teams are jumbled pretty close together.
They are.
And on this grid last night that I saw, the Dolphins' offense EPA was like at the edge of the grid, and everyone else was back here. The Browns' defense was at the top of the grid, and everyone else was down here. And it's just those two are the anomalies, are the outliers.
Let's settle this in the AFC Championship game for a trip to the Super Bowl.
Miami and Cleveland.
Agreed?
We're going to talk about it tomorrow on the show, too.
Right.
I'll tell you what, it's going to be a fun AFC
imagine?
playoffs.
The
Jets are done, right? We can throw the Jets out.
Yeah, they're not going anywhere.
They're done.
Chiefs aren't going anywhere.
The Bills, by the way, for
in a good
anybody
way.
didn't think the Bills
They're
were
not,
there,
no.
the Bills yesterday looked like the Bills.
Well, 2 weeks in a row
The Chiefs now look like the Chiefs. We're waiting for the Bengals
The
to
Bears
stand
are
up.
hideous. I don't know. The Bengals made a big mistake looking back now. I mean, they made a big mistake in playing Burrow to start the season. That was a huge mistake.
We saw there was, I think it
should
was
have sat him
ESPN
longer.
and the percentage chances that each team in the North has of winning
Yeah.
the division. and they made one colossal mistake.
Well, it's computers.
I know it is, but this is, and I used to argue with the analytics people that use strictly the computers for this kind of stuff. If you want to go ahead and call the Bengals your run-of-the-mill 0-2, and you want to give them an 8% chance of winning the division,
that's insane.
That is absolutely egregious.
If Burrow can't get healthy, they're not going to win.
The computer doesn't know that.
Yeah,
the computer isn't factoring that in.
If Burrow doesn't get healthy, they're done.
Yeah,
but there's a lot of football.
They started slowly last year. They were 2-3, weren't they?
They were 0-2 and then 2-3, and they started 0-3 in the division.
Yeah, so I'm sure last year the computer at 2-3 gave the Bengals a single-digit % chance of winning it.
Yeah, it's not over.
We know what they did.
We know it's not over. Listen,
don't kick
the
dirt on
Ravens
this
are
team.
2-1. They had a bad loss. The Steelers, they played well yesterday.
Steelers aren't very good.
I don't think they're very good either, but they find ways to win, as we always know. The Bills are good. The Dolphins look great.
Wow, that's progress. Did you see what Bull just did there?
What?
Well, I don't think they're good, but they find ways to win, as we always know.
Especially when they go up against idiot coaches like Josh McDaniels, who I'm going to kill tomorrow for what he did. Go ahead, Mike.
I have two more stats I'm going to combine into one here for the sake of making sure we get everything in. So far this season, the Browns have only allowed 21 total first downs in 3 games. That's 7 per game. What team do you think has allowed the second fewest, and how many?
Dallas.
Incorrect.
They didn't play great yesterday.
San Francisco.
That was the biggest stunner for me in Week 3 was Dallas, Arizona.
49ers?
Yeah, I would say 49ers.
It is Buffalo, who is averaged, not averaged, who is allowed 41. So
that's 20 more.
20 more than the Browns? I'm going to say this again,
and this is going to bring up the next stat. The Browns have allowed 21 first downs. Second in the NFL is Buffalo, who's allowed 41, which is 20 more than the Browns have allowed. And to remind you again, the Browns have only allowed 21, which brings us to this next stat.
Well, but let me just follow up on that, Mike, for a second. Okay, go ahead. Put the other stat, and then I'll...
Just let me give you the stat, and then you can follow however you want. This is from Sheil Capania of The Ringer. The 3 single best defensive performances of the NFL season based on success rate. How about the Browns in Week 1? The Browns yesterday.
Wow.
And the Browns against Pittsburgh on Monday Night Football. Yeah. These are the 3 best out of every game played in the NFL this year. The Jim Schwartz era in Cleveland is off to a pretty damn good start.
You guys.